Hold on to your seats, Chiefs Kingdom, because what we witnessed to close this season wasn't just another loss on the schedule. It felt like a moment suspended in time, the kind that makes you stop, look around, and ask a hard question. Are we watching the end of an era, or the calm before another legendary comeback? On a cold Sunday that should have been a simple send-off, the Kansas City Chiefs fell 14-12 to the rival Las Vegas Raiders, and suddenly the spotlight shifted away from the scoreboard and landed squarely on number 87. Travis Kelce's 13th NFL season officially came to an end not with fireworks, not with playoff drama, but with questions. Lots of them. And that's what made this moment so powerful. The Chiefs were already eliminated from postseason contention. The stakes, on paper, were low. Pride, rhythm, momentum, those were the real prizes. Kansas City had a chance to finish strong against a team sitting near the bottom of the league standings. Instead, the Chiefs dropped their sixth straight game, handing the Raiders just their third win of the entire season. And in doing so, they closed one of the most puzzling campaigns of the Andy Reid era. Kelce finished the afternoon with 3 catches for 12 yards. Numbers that barely register when you think about a player who redefined the tight end position, a player who routinely torched defenses in January and February, a player who built a Hall of Fame resume on clutch moments and impossible catches. But after the final whistle, nobody was really asking about the stat line. Reporters crowded around Kelce with one question in mind. What happens next? At 36 years old, the 3-time Super Bowl champion and 11-time Pro Bowler knows exactly where he stands in the arc of an NFL career. And yet, once again, he gave nothing away. No retirement announcement. No farewell speech. Just calm, measured honesty. Kelce made it clear he'll decide on his future at the right time, on his terms. But then came the moment that made headlines across the league. A moment that Chiefs fans everywhere leaned in for. Kelce admitted that while the team fell short, he felt prepared. Ready. Locked in. He talked about intentions, about effort, about how close so many of these games really were. And then he said something that might define his entire offseason. If he chooses to come back, availability and readiness in the biggest moments will be his focus. That wasn't just a throwaway line. That was a competitor talking to himself out loud. Let's break this down, because context matters. The Chiefs went 1-9 in one-score games this season. 1-9. For a franchise that built its modern dynasty on late-game execution, on poise under pressure, on the arm of Patrick Mahomes and the hands of Kelce, that number is shocking. Close games are supposed to be Kansas City's comfort zone. Instead, they became a recurring nightmare. Think about the history here. This is a franchise that lifted Lombardi trophies in 1969, then waited 50 years before the Mahomes-Reid partnership reignited the fire with Super Bowl wins in 2020, 2023, and 2024. This is the team that turned Arrowhead into a fortress, where the roar of the crowd shakes the ground and quarterbacks struggle to hear their own thoughts. Geha Field at Arrowhead Stadium isn't just a venue, it's a weapon. And for years, the Chiefs wielded it better than anyone. But this season, something felt off. The offense sputtered in key moments. Drives stalled in the red zone, that critical area inside the opponent's 20-yard line where games are won or lost. Timing routes were just a step late. Protection broke down at the worst possible times. And defensively, despite strong individual efforts, the unit couldn't always deliver the one stop that changes everything. Kelce's comments about close games hit hard because they echo what fans have been screaming at their screens all year. These weren't blowouts. These were inches. A dropped pass here. A missed assignment there. A field goal that sails wide. In another universe, the Chiefs flipped just a few of those moments and we're talking about a playoff push instead of an off-season crossroads. And that's where Kelce's mindset becomes so fascinating. He didn't promise a return. He didn't tease a farewell. Instead, he set a standard. If he comes back, it's about being ready when it matters most. That's vintage Kelce. That's the same mentality that turned a third-round pick into one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history. The same mentality that made him Mahomes' most trusted target when everything was on the line. Around the league, analysts are already weighing in. One former tight end turned broadcaster put it this way: when a player like Kelce talks about situational readiness, that's not decline talking. That's obsession. That's a guy who still believes he can tilt the field. Another AFC executive reportedly said that as long as Kelce feels his body can hold up, defenses will still have to game plan around him every single week. And let's not forget the bigger picture. The Chiefs are no strangers to reinvention. Under Andy Reid, this organization has evolved time and time again, adjusting schemes, developing new weapons, and finding ways to stay ahead in a league designed for parity. From the early days of Mahomes' gunslinger style to more balanced, methodical attacks, Kansas City has always adapted. Kelce's potential return in 2026 would fit right into that narrative. Not as the same player he was at 28, but as a smarter, more surgical version of himself. A chain mover. A red zone chess piece. A leader who knows exactly how to prepare a locker room for the grind of a long season. Of course, the emotional side can't be ignored. Kelce isn't just a football player anymore. He's a cultural figure. From commercials to podcasts to his high-profile presence in pop culture, his reach extends far beyond the field. Walking away wouldn't just be a football decision, it would be a life decision. And those take time. For Chiefs Kingdom, the waiting is the hardest part. Fans remember the legends who came before: Len Dawson's calm leadership, Derek Thomas's relentless edge, Tony Gonzalez's elegance at tight end. Kelce belongs in that lineage. And whether this was his final snap or merely a frustrating chapter, his impact on the franchise is undeniable. So what does it all mean moving forward? If Kelce returns, expect a motivated veteran with unfinished business, laser-focused on rewriting the story of close games. Expect a Chiefs team determined to turn heartbreak into fuel, to restore that late-game swagger that defined the dynasty years. And if he doesn't, then this offseason becomes about transition, about honoring the past while building the next version of Kansas City football. Either way, one thing is clear. This loss to the Raiders wasn't just a footnote. It was a mirror. It reflected everything that went wrong, and everything that still could go right. The Chiefs have been counted out before. They've been doubted before. And time and again, they've responded. So Chiefs Kingdom, keep your eyes on this offseason. Listen closely to every word. Because the next chapter of this story, whether it includes number 87 or not, is already being written. And knowing this franchise, knowing this fanbase, knowing this city, you can bet it won't be boring.